mute my phone.
And you're on.
Nice.
I've done the subtle transition where you're muting your phone, but that's all
Well
good.
done.
That's all good. So I am joined by Nick, Nicholas or Nick. Which one do you prefer?
Nick for sure.
Nick for sure. All right, Nick,
Yeah.
Inero Smith, and I actually have made a big mistake here. Um,
It's me, Ryoma and
yes,
FBI.
yes, that is the mistake.
Yeah.
It's all good. Nothing a little editing can't fix.
Yeah.
All good, all good. No one saw that. Um, still in production. But yeah, I'm here with Nick Nero Smith. Nick is the Golden Guardians coach. I will say coach because I don't know. You're gonna tell me the title because I think you can create your own title in this position. Um, and sometimes I think your position is similar to like how I introduce my position. It's depending on who I speak to. And if I want to sound a little bit more fancier, I'll say head of esports. And
Yeah.
so yeah, Nick, what do you do for Golden Guardians? What did you
All
start
right.
off doing, and what do you do now?
Yeah. So started off as the head coach. Then midway through the split, we changed things around. I brought up an idea with their staff. Wanted to move myself into a different role and focus on developing academy players up to LCS for the next split after this one.
Mhm.
Um, and so like we haven't 100% locked in on what the official title is.
Yep.
It's initially been like two-way player coach because the guy that I essentially swapped roles with was the two-way player coach.
Yep.
I'm basically talent development at that point. I don't know what the title is, but I'm a coach right now.
You're a coach, and you're a damn good coach, Nick. That's what you are.
Thanks, man.
And then if I had to, like, we're gonna talk about you, but to give them a little teaser to what we're gonna talk about, I'm just gonna run through your literal 4 sentence like career. And
All
it
right.
goes something along the lines of Nick had a career before OS, but he came to OS, coached in OS, went back to North America, joined Echo Fox, made playoffs with Echo Fox, uh, then went to Golden Guardians, and as the first split, as a boss with a restructure, then as like a player development kind of person, made playoffs again, and was very close playoffs. So that's your like real TLDR, and I think those are the things that we're gonna like kind of touch on in this like you know rewind of Nick's career.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Um, so yeah, I guess take us through your coaching journey because I know it starts like way before OS, way before NA.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
if I remember correctly, you started in Europe, or at least you ended up in Europe.
Yeah. I started in Europe.
Yeah.
It was the first thing I did. I moved to Ireland for it. I started off working in like a UK team for this guy had posted on Twitter that he needed help or was like looking for someone to kind of work with for things. And yeah, he was helping a UK team or like a specific player on a UK team, so I was helping that guy out.
Mm.
It was a jungler named Dan. Me and him are still really good friends. He essentially got me like my first start in esports.
He was on Fnatic too,
So
right, for a short bit.
yeah, for a short bit. Um, I was helping him out. He eventually moved from there like really quickly to it. What was the name of the team? It was like a really dumb name, like when you're making a team with your friends and you have some edgy name.
Yeah.
Um, it was Prides with a capital Z.
Oh, like Sin Gaming.
Um, yeah, one of those just awful names. So we
Come
were
on,
on
bro.
that team. He eventually got picked up for Mouse Sports. At that same time, I was doing like some tryout work or something for DiggyU, which
Mm.
was the roster with like Wonder, Senkux, Kabe.
That's a pretty good roster, bro.
Yeah, no, like it's pretty insane. And I was deciding between working with those two, which is actually how I got my name. Because if I joined Dignitas, it would have been Dinero, which was for money in Spanish. And
Oh.
if I was joining Dig, I was joining for money. And if I joined Mouse Sports, I was joining to help my friend. Um, so I was initially going to go to Dig, and then I changed last second to help out Dan on that team.
Mm.
Um, and yet my manager just submitted the name Inero anyways. So
So
I ended up as Mal's Inero.
Miles Inero.
Yeah.
I always said mouse. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I feel like it was one of those things where you said mouse or mouse, but I think both were correct.
Everyone messed it up.
Mm,
Everyone messed those names up so hard. Like I, at that time, I was just like a giga shit poster on Twitter
yeah.
all the time, and people would call us like Mouse Esports Club, which is just wrong. And then there was Mouse Esports Club, also wrong. Then Mouse Sports, which is correct. And it's just like I memed it all the time too, because no one can get the name right. So,
And then
but yeah,
uh,
that was my first team.
and then what happened after mouse? Where'd you go from there?
Um, After Mouse Sports, which was an interesting time, I left after
Oh
building a
wait,
roster.
if it's interesting, what's interesting about it?
Nah, I mean, after the first split that I worked with them,
Yeah.
I was dog shit coach, but we did way better than we were supposed to do. So I randomly got offers to work with other teams, like Splice or Diggy U promoted, sold to Splice. Splice like offered a job to do something there. I
Mm,
turned that down, and then we were awful the next split because we made the mistake, and it was like me helping make the mistake of changing around our roster, and then we ended up unable to actually get like better players in the spots. So we were awful the next split, just completely bad. And then after that, we literally ended up signing on the team. I got caps for the team. I got upset, and I got
whew,
Norscarin.
whew.
Like we set up a pretty fucking banging roster, and one of the top laners we were supposed to get to was Alfari, and we just
Do you
ended
just
up
want to win
not doing
worlds or
it.
what? Are you just trying to win worlds right now?
Looking back, that roster's insane, right?
But
And
back
then
then,
I ended up not able to work with the team because my visa was expiring, so I had to dip.
oh,
So I was just like, well, guys, if I can't get my visa,
I'll see you guys.
I'm gonna go to another team.
Yeah, damn man, I didn't know
Yeah,
that. That's actually crazy.
yeah, it's pretty nuts, but unlucky. It
Yeah, but
happens.
yeah, not to harp on like some sadness, but do you ever wonder like if the visa turned out, what would have happened? Like where would Caps be now? Like where would you be? Where would Alfari be? Like there's two ends of a spectrum. They've either won worlds this time, or they're retired. I like.
Yeah, I don't know. It could have been pretty insane. I still think like I was a shit coach then.
Okay. Yep.
I probably wouldn't have done too much to help them. Like I was still like learning, you know.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out like what the hell's actually good for me to do.
Wait.
But that team failed
What's
to
a
qualify.
frozen lane? Wait, what?
Through what?
I say, what's a frozen minion wave?
Oh,
It's-
yeah. That dude, I was having to learn so much stuff. Like I had just gotten out of the year where I'd played in like high elo
mm,
and everything, but going into competitive is like the easiest way to learn that I was an actual idiot at the game and didn't understand anything. And I just learned really fast.
I think
It was tragic.
but I think when everyone starts in, maybe not so much now, because I think there's like a bit more resources now. But if you go back like 4 or 5 years ago, if you started esports center, I remember playing my first OPL game, biggest for fun player ever, still playing at home OPL.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, I pressed tab in like a game against Chiefs, and like radio was like iconic back then. I pressed tab, and my ADC was down like 80 CS, and I said, "Bro, how you down 80 CS? Did you miss all these minions in lane?" And he's just like, "Nah, I don't know what to do." Like the wave's like stuck at his tower. Like we didn't know that freezes were like a thing, and radio was like
Yeah.
freezing. This was like in an OPL game, man, like early on. Oh, tragic. You live and you learn, but hey,
Yeah.
live and
Yeah.
you learn.
It's a wild one to get into because there's no fucking way to learn any of the stuff when you're just on the outside looking in,
Mm.
especially at that point. It was just like, okay, well, I guess we'll int some scrims and find out, or I'll say some dumb shit and then players will correct you, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm learning.
Yeah.
So it's a weird experience when you're a coach and you don't know anything, and basically the fucking players are teaching you every time.
Yeah, you gotta. It's all about surviving. You gotta survive until you can be until you're the alpha male of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of I had to just do stuff that was good for like team related things while I learned actual game stuff. So
Yeah,
at least it was good on that end. I got to learn like what's actually good for a team environment and kind of build on that. I did a
yeah,
lot of reading and stuff too, like traditional coaching experience.
yeah. You're a very
Um,
prepared guy. That's one thing I've noticed about you. You have some good preparation.
yeah, yeah. You like my sleep prep to
Yeah,
get here on time?
yeah.
Yeah.
We could have done it a lot earlier, man. I told you.
Yeah.
But guys, I forgot to mention. If you have any questions for Inero, put them in the chat. I'll grab them. I'll whack them into a document, and then we'll answer them, or he'll answer them at the end. Yeah. So I just thought I'd jump in there and say that. But all right. We briefly touched on your stint in OS. I'm not gonna
Mm.
touch. I don't really want to touch on like what happened because I think everyone is well aware,
I think everyone knows.
yeah, of
Yeah.
what happened. Um, but what I
Yeah.
want to know is like, well, two things. It's probably a double. It's a double question. It's uh, what was your thoughts on OS as like a region, keeping in mind you were here 2017. Um,
Yeah.
and then what were your biggest takeaways between OCE and North America at the time? And maybe even now, because I know you even helped out last year a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Okay. My thoughts on like the region as a whole. When I came in, it was still like I think in the last year or so, everything's kind of gotten a lot better. You
yep.
obviously have a better perspective of things, but once I partnered with the AFL or whatever happened there, I don't know the specifics.
Oh
But when I came in, it was kind of
yeah.
still like the Wild West of stuff.
Mm,
It was interesting. I know a lot of teams had some interesting setups with things, but it was kind of cool to see that again because it felt very much like when I was in Europe, where it was just the very starting of things, and even though it wasn't the start of like OPL, there was just a lot of the like rookie mistakes everyone was doing, but it was just because the scene was still new and everything. So that part for me was really cool, and it was good to be a part of.
yeah.
Um, and overall, everyone was just super passionate about the game. You didn't have guys that are there to make money because there was no money in it.
Yeah.
Like no one's like, yeah, I'm playing in the OPL so I can get my cash in. I'm making bank. You never had to deal with that. Everyone that was there was like passionate about playing, so they're super easy to work with for the most part. That's what I noticed at least. Um, like working within like the whole Tainted Minds thing, uh, like even though all the stuff outside of the game, like that environment was so good. That's still like to this day the best team I've worked with. Like with 5 people, um, just the way the environment felt was super sick. Everyone got along really well. Um, and anyone I talked to, like talking to you, talking to guys on Legacy,
Yeah.
talking to guys on Chiefs, everyone was just always concerned about getting better at the game, and I don't know, it was great. Like that's definitely something that's way different from North America to this is you're gonna have more people that once they reach a certain point in like one of the major regions. It's same thing in Europe. Uh, it's very easy for money to become a focus,
Yeah.
which is totally understandable. Like if you're focused on having a stable life and having a stable bank account, it's very easy to focus on that because you can find that money really easily.
And I think a big thing too that was for me was like, excuse me. You can focus on like if you have a stable like bank account, you don't care about your next 2 years or 3 years or whatever your life looks like. But sometimes like if it's not, it's like day to day. Like what am I going to be doing in 6 months, 3 months? And I think that's a stressor as well.
Yeah, like you can tell a lot of guys are just you immediately know if someone's cashing out. Like you can just see it. It's very easy to tell, like in the way they play and the way they talk to their team, that they're not really too concerned like if the team gets better because they're making their paycheck, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's not like you have a bunch of guys like that, but it definitely does factor in some way. And if that's how people want to focus on things, that's cool. But just knowing like here, basically, no one has that issue at all that I've noticed at least. So
So
it's pretty nice.
in terms of in-game, then it was somewhat of a positive experience in-game, at least. Like in within
Yeah,
your bubble of League of Legends, that was like a positive.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It was really really positive in that aspect.
yeah,
I really enjoyed it.
yeah.
So
Um,
um,
well, and then, yeah, I guess yeah, that was the takeaway pretty much between. Yeah, good job, you smashed that one.
I mean, like skill wise too. There's
Yeah,
obviously like certain roles that stick out.
yeah,
Like I think 80 carries are. I know we were talking about this earlier too.
yeah.
I think 80 carries are really insane in Australia. Like I think there's good ones that can easily play pro, and I don't know why it's mainly focused to 80 carry. It
When you
doesn't
say
make sense to me.
pro, do you mean sorry, I said OCS. Do you mean North American Academy Pro, or do you mean
Uh,
LCS Pro, or do you think that's just determined on like do you think as we'll use Lost as an example. We'll use
Yeah.
the top four. You don't have to say names, but let's just say top four.
Mhm.
So the top four I would say is like um actually we'll just do top three
Okay.
off like the last finals. So it was like Rays, FBI, and Dream, but I'd say Dream's still somewhat of a rookie. And he's
Hmm.
probably got some years to go, but he did have a cracker gauntlet. But out of like those three, do you think like uh that talent level, that level could play LCS? Because many of us aren't familiar with like LCS standards, LCS ADs, and not necessarily them being like a top tier AD. But do you think they could, yeah, play LCS? Are they LCS ready?
Yeah.
Is what I'm asking.
I I think like those types of players can play in LCS.
Yeah.
Like the people that I ran into while I was working there, like Ray's, FBI, Lawrence,
Lawrence is lost, by the way, for those of you that don't.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and then like yeah, Ray's, FBI, King,
Oh yeah, King.
Lost,
Forgot about that guy.
like all those guys playing there. It's like I think they can compete in LCS for sure.
Yeah.
Literally, the only thing limiting them is one, the fact that like what they're learning in Australia isn't necessarily going to be the same as what they would be learning in Academy and LCS.
Mm.
So they'd be catching up on that end, and then also the fact that they're an import slot. So it's hard to break that stigma of why would I import from Australia when I could just import from Korea or Europe.
Yeah.
So it's like getting over that hump of things. But I think that if people start like waking up and thinking more about like the player and rather than what country they're from, they they can actually get really insane players
And and
that are
probably
passionate.
cheaper than a Korean would cost.
Oh yeah, way cheaper
Yeah.
than Korean would
I,
cost.
I
Yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons that you are so um kind of respected and successful too is because like you you look at a player for what a player is. If the player is garbage and he's from Oast, then he's just garbage. Like if the player is good and he's from Brazil, like he's a good player. You know what I mean? And I mean this is just me giving you a compliment really. It's not a question. I think that's like like a really good thing for you and a really good thing for a coach to have is like you can disassociate between like who they are, where they're from, and yeah, like
yeah. I try
that's
to. I don't know. I think a lot of people struggle with actually picking out like who good players are
yeah.
with things, and that's just like a problem in general with a lot of things because no one really knows what to look at for it.
But it's a risk,
'Cause-
right? People don't want to take
yeah,
risks. You're willing to kind
it's
of,
all a risk.
yeah, because you're willing to kind of be like, hey man, this guy's good because I know he's good because my eyeballs have seen it.
Yeah.
And then lost when you were working on Echo Fox, like nearly. Did he win the Academy? No, they just missed out on the Academy Grand Final.
They lost by one game in their
Yeah,
first
but it
split.
was like a
It was
Nexus.
2-3 in finals.
Yeah, and and so like evidently he can't be a bad player. Like you can't get into a grand final and be a bad player anywhere.
Yeah, and then like he played in LCS,
That's true. Yeah, he played
like that
playoffs.
split when I lost or when I left, lost
Yeah,
one in and played. He
playoffs.
played like over half the split. Yeah, they were in playoffs. Like he was keeping up with everyone. Like he
Mm.
was doing well. Like on like stat metrics stuff that I do myself. Like he was still it was top six in the league, which is obviously like there's 10 spots, but top six is still playoffs level. And like his first split playing, where there's obviously going to be a lot of pressure. Like yeah, I know Lawrence felt that pressure. He's like the first guy from Australia that's like actually from Australia playing
Yeah,
in the league, or for him New Zealand, but
yeah,
same thing for
same.
me.
Oceania. Um,
Yeah, and he
damn.
was doing really good, man. Like he was doing great, and it wasn't like it was a great situation for him. He just had to do it, stepped up, and did well. So I don't know. I feel like there's so many people that could do well, and orgs are scared to kind of take that risk on things. So I'm
Yeah,
really thankful that Echo Fox actually like let us do that.
yeah,
'Cause, like I got to do that boot camp thing, and I brought Tally and him over.
yeah.
So
I did hear some whispers about that Tally coming over too, but these are slots and
yeah,
unfortunate and whatnot.
yeah, you can't have two imports in Academy.
Yeah, that
So
sucks.
yeah, so it was unfortunate we had to pick one, and
And you
yeah,
just
we
rolled the
picked
dice,
Lawrence.
closed the eyes, lost, landed on lost.
Yeah,
So and from what I'm gathering from all of this, it's every other role in OC is garbage. ADCs, you're not too bad. Um,
it's like 80 carries, mids mid's like used to be really good.
Yeah,
I think there's still like some that are good, but I don't know. It's a little unfortunate.
I
I
think the
don't know how much it would stack up because like mid is such a hard role to just come into like NA or Europe in, man. Like people playing are usually just insanely good,
yeah.
and that's where like teams are trying to get the best players in mid because it matters the most. So it'd be really hard competition, I think, to like justify um
And mid's
like
such like
mids
a
coming over.
mid's such a role where like you want to have that star player.
Yeah, like the every team basically guns for that.
Yeah,
Like in NA, like every team tried to have that in some capacity. Europe, like they just have so many good mid laners. Like I think the mid laners in OS are all good for the most part. Like the ones I ran into, like they're all doing great. They're all like able to play their lanes at least to the point where they generally need to,
yeah.
where they could definitely compete in academy. And it's just the fact that everyone stacks mid lane so hard that it's hard for them to justify like they would compete in LCS without them actually going over first and learning
Better
and
main
picking up on stuff.
better main top lane, boys. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, main top, main support, and
So you in
easy
LCS.
opportunities.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
So just quick, what was Rift Rivals like as a coach then? Because did you went to Rift Rivals or did you leave at that point?
No, I was there at that point.
Yeah.
So that was like shortly before I was quitting, but yeah,
Yeah.
I was there for that.
Tell us about Rift Rivals, NA, EU. Like, what was that like? Like, is it actually like a you want to crush EU? And I guess yeah, how was it to represent North America? Because it'd be a pretty cool experience.
I honestly just wanted to shit on my friends. Like that's why it was cool for me.
Yeah.
With like Grabs coming over, me and him are good friends, and the guys on the team, like Wonder was on. Wait, was Wonder on G2 at that point? He was, right? I'm not dumb, am I?
Look,
I'm pretty sure Wonder was there. Yeah, he was. He was.
I can check. I
So
can do some Leaguepedias.
yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. But yeah, like players like that coming over. I don't know. It was just a cool experience to have that crossover. The tournament itself was just kind of a for fun tournament,
Mm.
to be honest. Like
He was on G2 then.
he wasn't.
He was. He was.
He was. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So for us, it was kind of a for fun thing. We were. It's not like for fun, but that's how I want to describe it.
Yeah.
Like 100 Thieves are subbing out their roster to test people.
That's right.
Completely understandable
Brandini
since it
and
didn't matter.
Levi played from memory.
Yeah, which I'm glad they did. I'm
Yeah.
glad they like tried to do it. We also subbed in Demonte to play some of the games. It's like I think it's good overall to use it that way, because it didn't matter. So the fact that it wasn't extremely competitive because of that kind of blew, but um, I don't know. I still liked it. I thought it was enjoyable. My desk right now is actually made of just a bunch of mouse pads of it's the Rift Rivals ones that
Yeah.
Riot gave us to just say like EUNA.
Well, that's cool.
The one
We didn't
that.
get a mouse pad.
Oh really? You
Yeah.
gotta complain about that for sure.
Do you have the stream open?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do.
I got this. This is from Rift Rivals, and I'll tell you the story about what I'm showing to the camera and when you see it.
All right, I'm waiting. Currently, you're waving your hand
Yeah, that's it.
in the screen.
My hand. It outsmarted Levi.
Oh,
That's the
oh,
one.
nice.
Yeah. Yep.
You like outsmarted him at Baron or something, right?
Yeah. So I was 3 levels down because he was just a way better player than I was. Well, actually, to be fair, let me tell you about that real quick. Um, Dokla actually ruined my career, and here's why. Um,
All right, let's hear it.
yeah.
I'm here.
So Levi was playing Elise, right? And
Mm.
I said to Levi, I mean, sorry, to Dokla, 150%, I'm going to put my life on it. Levi's coming top level 3. I guarantee you, he's coming top level 3. Please don't die to the gank, yeah? And then
He died to
Niship
the game.
had died to the gank, didn't burn flash. Okay, Niship, that's fine. Like, you're putting me on you're already putting me behind against a player that's a lot better than me, yeah, right? And then
Uh-huh.
we didn't think we could win the game against GAM because they just popped off an MSI, and we were like, nah, no way. And then we actually were winning the early game and the mid game, and we were like, oh, shizen, boys, maybe we should start playing properly. And then because we were laughing on comms and we were just giggling the whole time, and then there was a team fight mid, and I saw it in advance. And I saw it in advance. I said, Niship, come mid. You don't have TP, just start walking. Push wave, start walking. And then he didn't come mid, and then they aced us, and they had with 2 auto attacks from dead almost, and I never forgave Niship after that.
Damn. That's a tragic story.
Yeah, that's my that's the story of my career trajectory.
You're just gonna you're gonna shit on him like that while
No,
he's asleep for sure.
I love Niship. I love Niship. It's only a joke.
Yeah.
It's only a joke, but it's
Uh,
somewhat not a joke.
yeah.
uh,
Understandable. Okay.
yeah. So then your new beginning, which was Golden Guardians. I call it a
Yeah.
new beginning. New beginning?
Well, definitely was.
It
Yeah,
definitely
for
was a
sure.
new beginning, and it was also a new beginning for Golden Guardians. Because they had a horrific season. I think that's fair to say.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah, they did.
and kind of how was that process, and why did you choose Golden Guardians?
Yeah, so definitely a new beginning because when I like quit Echo Fox, like I was definitely intending on not like staying in esports at all unless I had like some like crazy good opportunity. I was not interested. Um, so going into Golden Guardians, I was mainly just looking to have like some sort of setup with organization management where I got like the same vibe of what I was looking for,
Mm,
and had like the same idea of what we wanted.
yeah.
So I was talking a lot in the off season to different people, just seeing what different teams were like and seeing what environment was like in different places to see if that existed. Um, and so just talking around to people, I heard a lot of good stuff about Danon, and everyone had like a really high.
That's the sorry, I do mean to cut you off, but that's the Golden
Oh no, you're all
Guardians
good.
general manager.
GM.
Yeah, just so
Yeah,
because people probably don't know who Danon is. So.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it makes
He
sense.
also he didn't follow me back on Twitter, so I'm kind of upset about that. But whatever.
It's pretty fucked up. I'll give him shit.
Yeah, just tell him
Uh,
tell him if he wants to make big moves, then he needs to follow me.
yeah. All right, I'll
Keep
hit him
going.
up.
Sorry, keep going. Sorry.
You're good. Uh, he he had like everyone had a really high opinion of him. I got to talk to him a bit after he left Cloud9 too, and yeah, I just agreed with a lot of the ideas that he had. Talking with Golden Guardians too, because at the time, like after I quit, I was doing consulting work with them in Order.
Hmm.
So I got to talk a bit with Kirk, who is he's on the ownership level of the Warriors and basically
Ooh.
helps out with the esports side too. Like it's one of his side projects while he's doing everything with the NBA team.
Yeah.
Got to talk with him and Hunter. They both had a really good vision for what they wanted to do in esports. Like it is very clear that they're long term focused and they say the same goal that every org says at some point is like they want to win worlds, but it's the way that they want to win worlds was not like now, not immediately. They're
Not
not
by
wanting to
Faker.
just build it. Yeah, they're not wanting to just spend a bunch of money, get the best players right now, and put them together and hope it works. Like they're wanting to set up a system where they're actually building things over time and building players from scratch. It was basically the same model they had towards when the Lakers first bought in to the Warriors and like took over ownership on that side, where they wanted to actually build things on their own slowly and then grow to be the best team.
Hmm.
Um, Kirk had that same idea with Hunter, and like he wanted to build something similar here. And I really agreed with a lot of the things they were saying when I got to speak with them. And
Did you,
then meeting with Danon too, it all just like lined up for me. It was just a great opportunity.
did
They were there.
you like basketball before you joined them?
No, I
Oh,
was not a basketball
I
fan.
was gonna
I've
say
gotten
maybe
into
that
it now
swayed your
because like
decision.
yeah, no, I got into it now because they're the Warriors and they're winning. So I'm gonna watch them play.
You're like,
Because both
hell yeah,
nights
Warriors,
my
bro,
team's winning.
yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, I have an excuse to be a fair weather fan basically. Like I get to be a fan of the best team like at the time, so I'm down. But no, I was more of an NFL guy, so
Oh,
it happens.
damn, ready in Twitch chat. Warriors blue.
Blew a 32 point lead. It was a 31 point
Yeah, it
lead,
was
but that's
31. If you're
fine.
gonna do infactual information ready, I'm gonna have to ban you. Yeah, sweet. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I think it's very similar to what we our goals and visions and stuff is like um getting a team with a lot of talent, putting them together and working with them.
Yeah.
That's the TLDR anyway. Um,
Yeah.
and we kind of touched on this, and I guess I'll make you just touch on it again since there's a fair few more people here. But what was your role on Golden Guardians, and what is your role on Golden Guardians?
Yep. So I came on as the head coach, so I helped build out the roster staff and everything with Danon.
Yeah.
Um, through the split, had talks with coaching staff. Um, the way I thought that we were utilizing like our strengths and weaknesses
Yeah.
was actually more beneficial to have me in a role where I get to try to help develop talent up to the LCS level and let Jimmy actually work as the head coach. I think he like ran away with that job too and did really really good with it
Jimmy's on stage.
throughout this split. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jimmy was on stage with me the whole time.
Yeah.
Um, so he got to come in. He started working with the LCS team, doing a lot for them. Like he was obviously like operating as essentially the head coach that whole time.
Mm.
It got announced like once we got into playoffs and the split had ended, but he was functioning as the head coach for pretty much all of that time. So I think he did really insane with it, and that was really good to see. But that's kind of like what I expected with him coming in, is that he was going to do really well in the spot, and it would make sense for him to do that, and then I get to focus on kind of what I want to do, and I also think that my strengths lean better towards doing something like that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it worked, right?
yeah,
Like
it
you
was great.
guys, they went from like a, I don't know if they were last, but I think they were last season. Were they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were last both of their first splits in
Yeah.
LCS and
And
Academy.
from last to playoffs is a pretty big achievement in my opinion, because it's very hard to just flip
Yeah.
something on its head like that.
Yeah, for me, like I actually think getting to playoffs in LCS is really easy
Yeah.
and straightforward. Like anyone can do it if you just have a rough idea of how to build a team, which I think is really easy if people kind of know what they're looking for. I managed to do it on Equifox, and we got to change the roster around,
Are
and
you
they let a bunch of people
flaming
go.
100 Thieves?
I not flaming anyone specifically. I just think it's very easy. I think it's really straightforward to do. As long as you're not like inting what's happening, getting the playoffs is really straightforward. Um, and I don't know. I know a lot of teams struggle with it. But a lot of the teams struggling with it are also teams that are coming in like pretty brand new
Yeah.
with stuff. They're figuring things out. Um,
It's
so
probably
I
a
was just
pretty
happy to be able to help like
North
build a
America
team.
is probably in a phase where like it's people like yourself, like Danon, trying to educate uh really intelligent business sports people, not esports
Yeah.
people, like sports people. And it's like, how do you like explain certain things to them, or like how do you show them certain things and move forward in that way? Is that what you're finding? Like you're more like a, maybe not you so much, but it's more like an education piece too for like the upper ends.
Uh, a little bit, but honestly, it doesn't feel like that too much. They gave
Yeah.
us a lot of like they gave us a lot of control to just do kind of what we thought was correct because they hired us for that reason, and
Mm.
that's like one of the greatest things is that they have trust for the people they're hiring, which I think is like completely necessary to have any success because they don't know anything about league.
Mm.
Like realistically, they know nothing about it in terms of like what players are going to be good. So it's like a little bit of like teaching them on that end. Like I do a lot of stuff of showing them like stuff with how stats like base like things for my decisions
Mm.
and how I'm like creating my own metrics for stuff to track like what players like if I think they're good based on eye tests, like I can also support it based on numbers and stuff that I'm looking at.
Hey, I'll tell you
That
what, mate.
is more than just CS difference or something like that, you
Hey,
know?
wouldn't mind taking a cheeky look at one of those documents off stream. I'll tell you that much, Nick.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I can show you. Maybe a sneak peek
Yeah, maybe
of it.
give me one eyeball at least.
Yeah, for sure. But
Uh,
yeah, like I definitely helped them a lot on that end with things. Kind of
ha- so then
show them
like
stuff.
with the new structure set up and things like that, like how would you rate the season then? Was it a success? Was it unsuccessful? Like what was the like disappointed in something or not disappointed? Happy? Yeah. How's the season
Uh,
split?
for me, like personally looking at it, like it's a success for Golden Guardians. We got the playoffs, and that's like great. Like getting the org to the first playoffs is awesome.
Mm.
For me, I always feel like it's cheesy, dude. But I feel like anything that's not winning is always just not a success. Like for me
Yeah.
individually,
Yeah.
and that there's always like more we could have done as a staff to actually improve the players. Like every player on our team, like going down like through our lanes, was performing statistically the best in laning phase on their matchups every single time.
Really?
They had like the top laning stats for all of that and everything that they like fail on or struggle on outside of that aspect is always due to coaching staff. Um, so I really think there's no doubt that we could have been the best team, like scrim results wise. Like we were able to beat the teams all the time that were above us. We had consistently like, dude, in the last week of
We're not
scrims,
leaking scrims here. We're not leaking scrims. I repeat, not
yeah,
leaking scrims.
last week of scrims, like we start off the first 2 days of our scrims going into playoffs. We're 13-1 in scrims. Just like, all right, feeling pretty good. Shitting on these teams, great. We blast out the rest of the week doing well too. Um, Everything that we fail on ultimately comes down to coaching staff, and it's the only thing like I can blame for. Like how we prepared the team is what matters more than anything else. So in that aspect, I see it as a failure because I think like I could have done more, or I could have done things better. So
I think that's a real
the
Poggers
next one should
mindset. I think that's a very Poggers mindset because if you have the mindset of
be
like, hey,
Poggers
yeah,
mindset.
if you have the mindset of like we finished in playoffs, like well played, successful season, and you just think that's it, we done our job, then you can't like there's nothing for you to come back to next season. You're just happy to make playoffs again.
Yeah.
Whereas like you sound very critical of like even making playoffs, which means I think that you guys will do even better next split. So I'm super excited to watch Golden Guardians and Nick Inero Smith. I love saying your full name. I don't know why I can't say Inero. I love saying Nick in your. I think I like Nick Smith. That's why. I think Nick Smith sounds
Yeah.
like so fun to say.
So my girlfriend and all of her friends literally refer to me as Nick Smith.
That's a weird flex. He's flexing on us that he
It's
has a
weird.
girlfriend.
Yeah, a girlfriend by the way. They knew me as Nick Smith, and when they talked to me, just referred to me as Nick Smith. I don't get it
Dude, I'm
at
telling you,
all.
you don't understand because you have the name. But Nick
Yeah,
Smith
I'm
is
used to
so
it.
good to say. Oh, you,
That's the most basic name in the world, dude.
I should
It's
we,
so
we should
bad.
all go up to your parents and say thanks, congratulations. It's a
Yeah,
great
thanks
name.
Jack Smith for naming your son
Well,
Nick
he's like,
Smith.
oh my god, that's even a good name, dude. Wow, these names,
Just a
man.
very simple name.
CDM thinks just as satisfying as Matthew Chen. I think Matthew's a bit harder to say than Nick Smith.
I'm pretty sure it's just because my name is 2 syllables.
Yeah,
Like my full name is just straight up
yeah.
2 syllables.
Um, this one's a real maybe I don't even know if it's a real change of topic, but because I don't actually know what it is. I actually purposely did not ask when we spoke about it off stream, so I could be surprised by your
Mhm.
new stuff. What's the new stuff? That's
The new stuff.
all the context I have, by the way, is new stuff.
Oh, okay, so the new stuff like being my role with everything.
Well, maybe that was the new stuff. We said on DMs, new stuff. Talk about new stuff.
Oh yeah. The new stuff was talking about the job and like what I plan on doing.
Oh, there we go.
So
Bang.
it's like what I came into Echo Fox to do. Like I joined Echo Fox with the goal of helping. They basically had an academy team before we had academy teams. They
Yeah.
just had Delta Fox. There was like the Delta Fox stream team that was playing in Challenger Series. That was just whatever. Like that was for
There's a lot of talent in
brand
that team.
stuff. Yeah, like the wait, you're talking about the streamer team. Yeah,
Yes.
so much talent in the streamer team.
Wait,
The
QtPie's insane.
actual
QtPie's insane. He'd be the best AD in North America again.
yeah. If he actually played for sure, 100%
Yeah.
agreed. But the actual like Delta Fox team, which is Brandini, Greg, Greg being Grignay,
Yeah. We can't
then
say that anymore,
Demonte.
actually.
Oh, we can't.
No.
Is that illegal?
Well, it
Oh,
didn't.
unlucky.
Isn't there a story behind his name to get changed?
If you Google what Grignay actually is, it's like a French word,
Oh,
okay?
is it?
Or it's an anagram for ginger.
Oh,
So
okay.
he's fine. Trust me, Greg would not have done that.
Okay.
Greg would not at all. He's the least offensive guy ever. But it was Brandini, Grignay, Demonte, Mash, and then the support at the time was who was it? It was Fang. We ended up getting Fang on that team, and like that team overall is like a pretty good practice team. Like it's got still pretty good talent on it that I
Yeah.
think are good. So I was coming in planning on developing that, and then they randomly had openings in coaching staff. And like, hey, we need a head coach. Like, are you able to do this? I obviously said sure. Like, I'm gonna take that job, which just led to me being head coach for everything, and then coming into this. Uh, but ultimately, like my biggest passion is in helping players make that jump from any amateur level of play to professional, and helping develop players. And like that was my goal with coming to Australia, was to try to bring like, Australian players back that I thought were good
Mm.
to
That's
play
kind of weird
in
that you didn't
what
take me
was
back with you
Challenger
then.
Series. I mean, you weren't on my team, dude. And then they
Yeah.
franchised. What can I do?
Kind of bloody weird that I didn't get the first ticket back business class to the Golden
Ah,
Guardians lounge.
yeah. maybe next time, Golden Guardians boot camp
No, dude,
when
maybe
you come
there's
back in
maybe there's
Arizona.
an alternate universe, not in this one, but there's a dimension in which like we go once we've moved on, and like I'm there, you're there, and you take me back to North America with you.
Yeah, maybe
If you believe in
maybe
alternate
there's one.
dimensions, I think that happens one time.
And then you just shit on Levi in Academy and then
Yeah,
make it to LCS.
I still Baron and we lose again, but this time this ship backs off.
Yeah, maybe there's an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that was my plan with things. I wanted to work on developing players, so um, yeah, I have the opportunity to focus on that now, which is great. Like I have coaching staff that I believe in, to do everything correctly around us, and then I get to focus on developing these guys that I think will be good, and then hopefully see them in LCS.
Well, I'll tell
So
you bloody what, Nick. If I had to, let me end it with this. Let me end this topic with this. If I had a kid and my kid was, what's the legal age for academy?
I'm pretty sure it's 16, 17.
If I had a 16, 17-year-old kid and I could put him in the hands of any coach in the world for League of Legends, let me tell you right now, he would be in your hands straight away. I'd sign him on a 5-year contract to work under Nicholas Smith
Five
only.
years.
Nick Smith only. And
All right.
and you would be the
Maybe
one.
have someone else do the contract, but
Yeah, well, you would be the one to take my son to Worlds. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I think of you. But honestly, on a serious note,
I appreciate it.
I think that um you're actually one of the rare people slash coaches that I hear about that or talk to anyways that like really has time for people and has uh is really focused on like the investment into people and developing talent. And like I can't yeah, every time someone says to me, "Hey, you know Inero?" and I say, "Yeah, man, like that guy, best bloke, like really good coach." Like I don't have a bad word to say about you, so I just want to like give you props for that and like thanks a lot for coming on and
Appreciate it.
having a chat with me. Um, did you have any other final messages or anything that you wanted to talk about? I know we spoke a lot about your journey and things like that, and your coaching and your philosophies and what you want to do and what you're doing. And is there anything that we didn't touch on or miss or anything like that?
I don't think so. Like if I had just had added comments, it's just, man, like I really appreciate Australia as a scene. I'm trying to do everything I can to help it out and
Let me
to help it out from the outside and like find opportunities for, players to come over.
And it doesn't go
Like
unnoticed,
that's my
man.
biggest
Like
goal.
everyone here thinks very highly of you. Like they know the work that you put in. So,
So I
yeah.
appreciate it.
But
So I always try to come back and help when I can, just with teams,
what? Yeah.
whenever I can.
One thing I forgot, as I do have questions. So chat asked some questions earlier, and I
Oh
copy
yeah.
and pasted them, and we'll power through them. So, Raddy asked Enero, "What's your thoughts on Shern?"
Thoughts on Sharon? I think he's really good. I obviously like when I was in Australia, didn't have the highest opinion of him because he called us everyone on Tainted Minds leeches and stuff. So we memed that forever. Uh, but I think he's good. I think he's a good player. He's over like in our in-houses right now because he's playing in North America. I don't know if everyone knows, but he's got 2 accounts, really high in solo queue. Playing in in-houses, he does really well all the time. We have like a tier system for in-houses. There's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Tier 3 is basically reserved for solo queue players that aren't playing on an academy team.
Mhm.
Um, but we do promote people based on like performance in games. We promoted him from tier 3 to tier 2 just because like he was doing exceptionally well in the games he was getting grouped into, and everyone felt like he should have a higher priority. So I think he's good. Um, he also like reached out to me and apologized about the stuff when we were in Australia. So like we're on cool terms now.
Mm.
I have nothing against the guy. I think he's cool, and I think he can hopefully get back to playing pro. Like I've heard some stuff about how he works in team, but
He's taking a break now, isn't he?
everything's hearsay. Yeah, I think he's like taking this year to just play solo queue in places and then try to like build up his name and then try to start up next year. But I don't know for certain.
So Vec asked, question for Enero, if any player, including from OS, was to bootcamp in NA solo queue, would he get noticed?
If but just they come from Australia to here and they just play in
Yeah.
solo queue.
So
That's it.
so
Yeah,
yeah, so like I guess rather than bootcamping in Korea as an example, if they bootcamped in North America and got like rank 1 or something like that or top 10, would they get noticed? Like
yeah.
would an
Like
LCS team notice them?
that's the whole reason I was able to even convince Echo Fox to like let Lost play. like to pick him up was because of the fact that when he came to our boot camp that we did, he played solo queue for that week and got like really high on challenger. Like he got top 50 challenger just playing in that amount of time. Like going to Korea, getting high solo queue obviously is really good. Like it's really important to do that. But if you can come over to North America when you have a chance to and actually play, and then make it very blatantly obvious that you're trying to get a job in North America in some way and you're high in solo queue, people will notice it, and you can definitely find opportunities on academy teams, especially like in the near future. So I think it's a good thing.
And last but not least, from Ready, most important skills for a pro player. Whether that's like I'm gonna say it can be in game, out of game, in a team environment. Yeah,
Uh, Social skills are really important. Like
I think they're highly
it,
undervalued in players.
it it's it's the most important thing. Like obviously there's a certain barrier where you need to be able to play like this good to ever have success. And once you reach that point, the biggest thing that starts to matter is just how you function as a teammate. And it'll mean a whole lot more than, okay, I'm now 1% better at playing the video game. Like if you can get like 10% better at being an actual teammate and a human being, and just having like empathy and being able to understand what, your teammates are going through, it improves everything. It's super important. I think that's the most important thing overall, is just improving social skills.
It's such like a great statement as well. It's like, hey bro, just learn to be a better person. Learn to have
Yeah.
better social skills.
Like whenever there's like insanely good players, that's usually the only thing that'll hold them back is stuff like that.
I fully
And
agree. That's
it's
one
really
thing I've
important.
learned in like my experiences about dealing with certain players is like you often find like the really good players somewhat lack in that area, and that's like a blanket
Yeah.
statement. It's not the case for everyone, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Nevertheless, before I let you go, I want to say, please follow our lovely guest Nick Smith, Nick Inero Smith, on the Twitter sphere. Um, I actually put lovely guest. I actually typed it. That's actually so poggers.
Wow.
And if you want to follow his journey this next split, then follow Golden Guardians. Yeah, Nick, you'll probably see like they'll probably win Worlds, or they might lose to us at Worlds, but they'll be there. Um, but yeah, thanks again for joining me, bro. Like I know it's like 2:30. I'm gonna say 2:37.
It's 2:47 a.m. for me
Oh, I
right
got
now.
the seven though.
Yeah, you did. It's
Um,
close.
oh wait, I looked at my clock. That's why I was seven. But yeah, again, thanks for joining me, bro. Much appreciated. Um, yeah, good to talk to you again.
Yeah.
Good to see you again. Um, and
Yeah, thanks for
let's
having me, man.
let's talk again. Let's keep in touch, but let's talk. Let's talk. Let's not talk all the time on a talk show. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool with me. Just hit me up anytime, dude. I'm fucking awful at reaching out to people
Yeah,
and
I feel
stuff.
like I'm the stage, like
I'll
I'm a
find
stage
like
three
other work to
girlfriend when I come to talking to you. I'm like, oh, I've messaged Nick so many times recently.
do. Nah, it's all good, dude. You can hit me up anytime. If I'm not doing something, I find random work to get caught into. So I'm awful at messaging people.
All right,
But yeah, I really appreciate it.
yeah, thanks guys, and we'll see you later. Let me. Actually, I'm gonna host Pabu slash host Pabu
I'll do it. Hit
Pabu
Pablo up.
OCE. He killed Faker. All right, that's a Pabu host. There we go.
Nice.